Update: I 18F had sex with my best friend 18F, and she wanted us to forget it ever happened. Original. Post https www.reddit.com relationships to 3wb Biger. I'd like to start off with saying that I'm not really a Redditor, so pardon me for any mistakes I might make regarding the post itself or its contents. To summarize what happened, almost a year ago, my best friend F, now 19, suggested we make out with each other on a random night when we were hanging out at her place. We went so far as to have full-on sex, and the next day she texted me to say she was feeling guilty, shamed, and that she thinks it's better if we never do it again, and that we should forget it ever happened. I agreed easily, respecting her decision, but couldn't help but feel out of place somehow, as many of the comments had suggested on my original post, advising me on voicing my feelings and concerns to my best friend. I sat down with her 1 week after that night, and just as I began clearing my throat, she told me that she had a boyfriend. I got happy for her. She told me about him. I told her he seems like a nice guy, but she had apparently met him online, so I asked her if she was certain about it. She's by no means a naive, oblivious person who needs me looking out for her, but I had to make sure anyway, and she assured me that it was fine. I left her place without ever bringing up what I'd gone there to talk about in the first place. College started. We temporarily moved to different cities, and naturally drifted apart since we were both so busy with our first semester. A few months later we realized we'd both be in our hometown over the holidays, so we set up a plan to meet up. We did. And this time she told me about her new boyfriend that she'd met in her class. She showed me pictures, told me stories, and I truly felt like the guy was a very nice, green flag, respectful person worth her time. I told her as much, and she giggled as she bombarded me with more of her stories, which I didn't mind listening to at all. What I did mind was the strange feeling of jealousy I felt every time she mentioned his name. A year passed. We started our second semester and would meet up whenever we were both in our hometown. She would pick me up in her car, and we would drive along the interstate at night while singing along to the radio and racing with random cars who dared to challenge her. On rare occasions she would turn the volume down and tell me stories about her boyfriend, to which I listened to closely and let myself smile and tease her about her giddiness and how obviously down bad she was. What hadn't changed, however, was that ridiculous jealousy that I thought would go away with time and separation, but each time I sat next to her, I was yet again reminded of how bad I wanted to be hers. Weeks passed. She texted me at 3 a.m. one night, telling me about how she was thinking about breaking up with her boyfriend. Apparently, the sex was amazing, his personality was lovely, but his face and his financial status were making her second-guess their future. I asked her questions that would reveal her own feelings on the matter, mostly so she herself would realize them, and she thanked me before we dropped the topic. Last night, I found a text from her waiting for me before I went to bed. She had asked me if I was in our hometown. I'd said yes, expecting her to ask when we could meet up next. Instead, she told me her parents would be out of town for a few days and told me to lie to her mom if she possibly called me in those few days, and tell her that I was hanging out with her daughter in their home in case my best friend wasn't able to answer her mother's calls herself. I was not, in fact, going to be hanging out with her in their home. Her boyfriend was. I had agreed easily. Of course I would. My best friend and her boyfriend don't get much opportunity to hang out, have sex properly, and I don't have any issues lying to her mom. I do, however, have a freaking pit in my stomach for some reason, a feeling that I can't even put a name to. What is it? Jealousy again. Am I jealous it's him with her in that house instead of me? Am I upset because she chose to hang out with him, who she sees every day at class, instead of me, who she sees maybe every few months if we're lucky? Am I feeling betrayed, rejected? Am I acting childish? Is this normal? I don't know anymore. I don't think this is how best friends should be, not healthy ones. I don't think healthy best friends get jealous of each other's partners. Should I cut ties with her? Am I being a toxic friend? I'm tired of imagining her next to me every night, telling myself I'm hugging her instead of the damn pillow. I don't know anymore. What should I do? TLDR. A year later, my best friend asks me to cover for her while she hangs out with her new boyfriend at her house while her parents are away. I agree to do it, but I'm left with an upsetting feeling in my chest and am considering cutting off the friendship. What should I do?